Jane and Charlie also chose the show's title, Whose World Is This? From the call and response lyrics of the hip-hop artist Nas, embodying a musical expression of empowerment. And this show is the first exhibition focused exclusively on their unique artistic relationship. And I just want to introduce each of you with a short bio. Just very, very briefly, Jane is artist in residence at Pace Gallery, Pace University's Dickson College of the Arts and Sciences. She studied at the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris and at the School of the Boston Museum of Fine Arts and Harvard University. Dickson's work has appeared in over 37 one-person exhibitions and almost 200 group exhibitions internationally. Her work has been reproduced in over 100 periodicals and books. Dickson's received awards from the National Endowment for the Arts and the American Academy of Arts, among others. And her works are owned by over 25 museums, including the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Museum of Modern Art, the Whitney Museum, the Chicago Art Institute, the Brooklyn Museum, and the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., and also overseas. Charlie Ahearn arrived in New York City in 1973 as a fellow at the Whitney Museum of American Art's studio program. After directing Wild Style, Theater of Fiction, and many artist documentaries, Ahearn co-authored the book Yes, Yes, Y'all in 2002, an oral and photographic history of the first decade of hip-hop, and many of you are probably familiar with that book as well. Wild Style, The Sampler by Ahearn was published in 2007 on the 25th anniversary of that movie, Wild Style. Ahearn has been producing documentaries such as Richard Hunt, sculptor, Jamal Shabazz, street photographer, and music shorts such as All City, Take It to the Bridge. Ahearn is a professor at Pace University, teaching hip-hop, art and design, picturing art, and documentary filmmaking. And he also teaches at New York School of Visual Arts, where he teaches a course on street art. Let's welcome Jane and Charlie.
Times Square in that day had one major sign that was moving. The only major sign that was moving was the Spectacolor signboard, and Jane was working as an animator.
Working at this billboard that's one Times Square where the zipper is. And this was the first computerized sign. I was looking for a job and it said artists wanted who can learn computers. This was before there was such a thing as computer art. There was no programs for it. So when I got there, they said, we've discovered that we cannot teach art to a computer person. So we've decided we need to get artists and teach them computer programs. I don't like computers, but I see that they're the future. So I'll try to learn this and it'll make me a better person. So I did computer animation at this sign for several years. And I was like, again, I'm like, I can't paint still lifes anymore. This is totally, I've got to record what I'm experiencing. And then Charlie Charlie was already part of a group called Collaborative Projects that's part of this show that's at college right now. And I joined it and we did lots of self-organized do-it-yourself shows because, as he said already, the 70s was really about minimalism. New York was broke, the art world was broke, people weren't buying art, so after the rah-rah 60s when people were making very cheerful, sellable work and people were buying it, pop art, then the market really contracted and people started, art dematerialized, people were like, well, we can't sell it anyway, so let's do conceptual work that couldn't be sold at the art night. Invited my friends like Keith Haring and Jenny Holzer and David Hammonds, people that were not at all known at that point. And subway, and people are like, how'd you get that commission? I go, well, you really have to go back to that. I did this thing on the sign 20 years earlier. I really strongly believe that you do things, when you have an opportunity, you share it, and then other things come back to you later. Because like through this, I got to know the public art people, and I got to know the MTA people. And
She has paintings in the show, and I have videos in the show, and sometimes there's an inner relationship between what's on the video and what's on the painting. But generally, it seems like two different artists that are doing two different things. And we said, but yes, there is a place where you can go, where you can start to find where they were talking and where they have all kinds of things in common. Because Jane's paintings are photo-based art. They derive from observation of things on the street or in the world, but that observation is also made with a photograph, which is then transformed through Jane's process into her art. She can talk about that. My work as a videographer, as a filmmaker, is very photo-based in the sense that I too am out in the world and I'm observing things and reacting to things. And I take photographs as a way to remember what I'm looking at. And just to make my point, I want to show you that picture, which I think is a really wonderful, cool picture. And I think it's really exciting, this idea, which we have not really, Jane and I have not really gotten to a point where we agree that this is true. But I think it makes an interesting idea to think this is a his and hers picture. Okay, this says Lolita, Debbie Pleases Circus. It has all the earmarks of Jane's artwork, the reflections of things, the perception of deep space, the sense of some kind of drama going on in the midground. Lolita, it's all these issues about women and space and all this stuff that you will see in her artwork. At the time, of course, I was going up to Times Square to think about.
any more questions?
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah.